Anyways, you already know who it is. Tis I. Aha. Anyways, we're doing a little quick fit check. I think if I do it too long, the video thinks I'm doing it sideways, and then it will record all weird. But anyways, it's his eye. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Whistly. Anyways, um, guess I'm in a parking lot. I always end up in parking lots. Anyways, because I don't know, there's no one around. It's quiet, and I have like house stuff, so it can't be too loud, or I'm like. Anyways, tis I, it's your boy. Anyways, look at this pimple, I think. Anyways, I'm reviewing Black Shield Maiden by Willow Smith. Willow the singer, she just dropped a fire album called Empathogen, which I thought was tremendous. And then Jess Handel, they co-wrote it. So I'm pretty sure, because Willow has all the money, she did all that stuff. She was like, yo, we finna do this. And they got some writer from some office someplace. And they're like, all right, yo, let's put this together. So they put together the book. I read it in audiobook, even though, like, see, like, Google kind of tricked me. It was all like, yo, you gotta... Because, like, I went in my Google Play to click, like, the audiobook, purchase the audiobook, but I ended up purchasing the actual ebook. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll download the PDF and listen to it in Speechify. But then, no. Then it was like, it's like we actually have an audiobook. And I like audiobooks, so I prefer to listen to the audiobook. And then it was read by the author, or one of the authors, which is Willow Smith. So, yeah. So I don't know. I guess so. I audiobooked it, and I thought it was pretty good. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. It had a lot of good heart in it, but I just have a lot of critiques with it. And I did a review, and the review made a lot of sense. Like. So I read a bunch of reviews. There's somebody out here riding their bike, so they distracted me. Anyways, it was 14 hours. So it was 14 hours when I started listening to the audiobook, which for me was already a sign that, like, whoa, that's 14 hours. That's kind of short for like a period piece for an audiobook. But then I was like, well, and it turned out to be true. Like, the book itself was a little too short. And it just wasn't concise. Like, I really didn't like how it was concise. It wasn't detail oriented at all for something being with Norse mythology and all these Vikings, things like that. The entire book itself was basically mythology by name. And there's a lot of things, like, I don't know where to start. Like, again, I just want to reiterate, I think the book is good. I think there's a lot of heartful moments in it. And it's more... what's it called? It's more Pretty Little Liars. Like, it has this kind of shallow kind of like vibe to it. It's kind of tacky in places. There's no depth to the story at all. There's the whole book. There's like no depth. There's no, like, you can just tell. I see. I'm not gonna judge. I don't know people's lives, but it just feels like, you know, the two people who wrote the book didn't have any like real life experiences or any, like, you know. A lot of the things that were written just felt really conceptual. It's not like, not even like a Stephen King, but like a Justin Somber who did Vampirates. It's just like, they can just be, just the dialogue. I'm feeling like I'm in a different world. I'm feeling like I'm in a different kind of thing, you know? And I just never felt like I was transported to a different world. It just felt like, it was just kind of just talking in words, and I just never felt transported into a world, which normally when I listen to an audiobook or I read a book, I want to be like, oh, all right, I'm in, you know, Carajo land, as my friend said. I don't know what that means, but it's just a thing my Spanish friend said. But I want to be transported into Wonderland, or like when I'm reading Brandon Sanderson, you know, I want to feel like I'm in stinking Alice Gar and all these things like that. And I just never, ever felt that, like, I was transported into this world. And again, like, and it's kind of, like, I get it, because Willow is probably, she was probably like 20, 21 when they started the process. Probably took them like a year or two to actually write it or whatever. But still, it's just like, so like, if you have like someone with more of the imagination and someone who's more gonna make it like technical. There should the Jess Handel should have been like, yo, we're gonna make this better. I feel like Jess Handel. I'm not gonna say blame Willow for like this the fault. Some of the faults is not her fault because she's not a writer. She's not built like that, you know. I felt like the person who's probably the actual writer in the situation should have, like, you know, they should have inserted themselves more, and just there's more. There's not enough of I's that were dotted and T's that were crossed, and just the depth wasn't there. I was expecting layers, and I didn't get any layers. It was kind of like one kind of like surface type thing, which did not, but like it was not a good combination, because you wanted, you know, you wanted the layers and you wanted this intricate type of piece, and it just never went there. And it's like, oh, this is gonna be cool with this Norse mythology. They were hyping it up, and then nothing delivered, and it was kind of a disappointment. But I'll say on the contrary, I'll just keep going back and forth on good or bad. On the contrary, I think the tone was good, and I think the original concept was good, and I do think I know I read some reviews that said the story wasn't good. I think the story was good. I just think they didn't deliver on the story that was there. But I, as a writer, and also I think just as a regular listener, I can understand the points. To me, I kind of auto-corrected and auto-connected some dots, so I didn't really feel the dip down that maybe other people wouldn't. But I thought the story was good. I thought it was clever. I thought it was genuine. And I listened to Willow's voice on the thing, so I think I think her voice is just very magical. She has that Los Angeles voice or whatever. This only applies if you listen to the audiobook. But I just felt that, because even though she's not like a good voice actor, but I felt the consistency, and I felt the emotion and the passion. I felt the passion and emotion that, to me, while I was listening to it, I felt a bit more consistency throughout the whole thing. But I definitely felt it heart, especially when she's like screaming random times. It's like, all right, you really care about this project, and I can understand that, and I could see more why you care about the main characters and things like that. And yeah, so the main character's good. Yufayu or Yufeyo, what, I forgot what his name is, or her name is, but the main character's a girl. And there's not really anything conveying that it's really Viking. This is another thing I was talking about. It's like there's nothing in the story that's like, all right, this is Vikings. It's like we'll say Viking words every now and then. We'll kind of have the Viking mythology and religion aspect to it. But again, it never goes into anything. It never really sets in. And like I think there's like a scene in the book. It's like towards the end. Spoiler alert. Alright, spoiler alert is, or whatever. But there's like a scene towards the end of the book where it's like she's getting gang raped by a bunch of people. And for me listening to an audiobook, it's only like 30 seconds that I'm listening to it. And I'm like, what in the world? Like you're, as a writer, you're supposed to give, like, one of the ways that you, like, Quentin Tarantino does this excellently. But Quentin Tarantino, he has his own style, but like, he just really good at bringing in life and making whatever he makes just feel so realistic that it just has that grit. Like, but that's also kind of his style. But like, it just, you know, it's just like palpable, tangible, whatever those words. It just feels like it's like you can reach out and like there's like it's a like, you know, it feels three-dimensional when it's really done well. And I just felt like this, they never gave the time for the story to actually happen. I feel like there's a pace that was good. There was a really good flow. I think the flow in this was excellent. I think the flow in this is why the book didn't like tank for me. It's because it kept moving. I love when things keep moving. I love when a movie keeps going. I love when a book keeps its pace throughout the whole way, which was really good. And I think one of the saving grace of the entire story is that even though it never stuck in any moment too long, But my thing is, again, like, you never had time to breathe life into the story. You never had time to just really appreciate the horror of a situation or the greatness of a situation. I think a lot of the best parts in the story is when time is given for Yufeyu to really just like, kind of be her charismatic, kind of shy, and give that grin, you know, and just kind of hopeful smile throughout the whole story, and be like, all right, you know, this situation sucks, but I'm gonna keep going, and I'm insecure, and I'm doubting myself, and I'm in a tough situation, and I have all these million things going around my head, but I'm gonna stay, like, true. I'm gonna stay consistent, and I'm gonna just keep pushing forward. That's the best parts about the story. Ironically, it's very ironic because a lot, like, the best parts of this movie reminds me of Pursuit of Happiness, where it's just like, I'm gonna have so much heart, I'm gonna kill you to death with as much heart as I can, and it's just gonna be like an onslaught of just heart, of just, you know, just which is, again, it's very beautiful, very unique. I really like it. It's very special. And I guess, yeah. So what else was I gonna say? Oh, tone. The tone in the story is, again, non-existent. Where's Waldo? I don't know. It just was not there. It was just so, like, it just felt like you know, like someone who grew up in a good situation wrote this based off just ideas of what they think how stuff works, and I think it was pretty close. I just think it didn't go the extra mile, and not going the extra mile made it feel like just tacky and just kind of two-dimensional. Not even one-dimensional, just two-dimensional. It was just one dimension back, and that hurt the story because it hurt the realisticness of the story. Tone, identity. Just the identity. It's like they had the identity, cut it up into little pieces, and just kind of sprinkled it throughout the story. There is not a connective piece that really pushed you through the entire story. It was always like, all right, this is kind of identity, this is kind of identity, this is kind of identity. Okay, you have the main character, but the main character doesn't carry the identity throughout the whole story. Like, that's the part of this, the book, Black Shield Maidens, that made the story boring. There was no identity in it. So there's no way for me, the reader, listener, to really resonate with anything that was going on because there's no identity. What am I being like, yo, I can relate to this specific thing? There's like nothing in it where I was like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. It was all like, all right, this thing's gonna happen in 2 seconds. This thing's gonna happen in 2 seconds. I feel this way about this character. These characters are this character. This is my mom. Like, there's no identity. It was just, there's no cohesive, you know, punch throughout the whole story that really just, there's no, like, I didn't have a rock that I can go from the beginning to the end of the book and just really be like, wow, I saw that rock develop. I saw that rock go from all the way over there to all the way over here. I am mystified, you know, by that. There's no, like, the character development and the identity just never sunk in, and I feel like it was never there. I feel like the main character, Yafeyu or whatever, was the same character from the beginning to end, and just like, and if not, it was never conveyed. It was never be like, all right, this is how it actually is. But again, like I said, I like the story, and I think lastly, I think the style was really good. I think the style was, I think it was suave and it kind of, you know, not bougie, but like, it just feels like, I don't know, just the vibe I'm getting is like, it's kind of bougie, kind of surfery, but just, you know, just, I don't know how to say it. It's just, there's a lot of heart. There's so much heart in this story. There's so much heart, like, in it, that it's kind of embodies a style of its own, where it's like, and I wish the identity would have been in this place instead of the heart, because the heart didn't matter as much. It kind of kept me like listening and being intentive, but it didn't win me over. It didn't sell me. Where the identity should have sold me so I can resonate and be like, yo, I relate to this character. But the heart was, it was all over the whole story. And it was just really, really cool just to see, I don't know, like there were actually black characters, but it just felt like, I don't know, it was just like, there's a lot of like, it was black characters, but it was like, oh, black character Viking by name. A lot of the stuff was just kind of thrust onto it. There's nothing that like it just never felt authentic. It's because all the things I just listed, and it just, they never put the pieces together to actually, put it together, and that was a kind of disappointment. And again, like even just details about the Norse mythology and things like that. I don't even know anything about it, but I question whether this was like historically accurate in parts, because I was never sold. I'm sure it was. It felt like a book report in too many parts of the story. It was like book report. I'm gonna put in this word. I'm gonna put in this accurate thing. I'm gonna robot. This is a part of the story where we put in this type of spear that was historically accurate. I would rather it be like more of an improv situation than you put something in technically that just doesn't have the glide to it that really sells me on the story. I just felt like it was a lack of preparation and writing the book, but just a lack of knowledge and actually creating a world for me to enjoy. And I don't think they needed the Vikings. I think it was a waste of time. Like, the best thing about Pretty Little Liars is that it has identity. It has this tacky but kind of realistic, kind of true, but all the time it's always like juicy. Like it's what do they call it? It's like a guilty watch, but it's not a guilty watch because there's no guilty watches in real life. It's just, it's just kind of this soap opera TV show, but it's actually good and actually like tries. It's just, there's a lot of like soap opera-ness about it, but it does, do what it's supposed to. It's a TV show, and like, I think the thing about like Pretty Little, it has kind of a silly, ridiculous concept. But it's like, all right, this is kind of silly, and our show has like a silly soap opera-ness to it, but just go with it, I never got that vibe with Black Shield Maiden. It was never like, go with this thing I'm trying to lay down. There's never any like, yo, go with it. It was always like, nope, this is very serious, but also we're just going to put in this choppy textbook stuff that kind of just kills the story, and there's no... It just wasn't smooth where it needed to be smooth. Like, it just did not have that, movement that I like in stories. Like, if you watch a movie with Christopher Nolan, because I listen to on Speechify, I listen to the screenplays. The screenplays have... The screenplay of Christopher Nolan's movie is pretty much identical, which is not like, it's not a common thing, pretty much identical to the movie. And even the screenplay has that, that Christopher Nolan juice, that just electric, suave, kind of Britishy vibe. But it's all very, very grounded, and that's the screenplay has it, and then the book has it. And I really enjoyed that. But this story just didn't have the one-to-one of, I really, that's something that, like, I'm talking about it because it's really frustrating that it wasn't there, because this story and the book had so much potential that it just never went there. And I feel like if it would have just not tried to be this, I want to do Viking things, I feel like if it was just a regular story, it would have been better. It would have been 20 to 40% better to me. 20 to 35% better if it was just a regular story without all the Viking things like that, because I feel like it was kind of propping up, and it was kind of too much of a challenge, too much of a reach for the writers. or if you're gonna do the Viking thing, I just feel like you didn't have to go historical. You could have went in any direction you wanted. You could have put sci-fi. You could have made it historical, but take away something or add guns or just, there's so many different options that could have been done. And that could have been added, just technology, clothing, like elemental, like wintry or whatever, like that. That just was not there. Like it could have masked a lot of the flaws, or it could have made the entire story more interesting. I needed more nuance. No, I think the nuance was there. I just needed more elements. I needed more elements to the story to make it a better story. I think. Something I say that I'm referring to movies again, but something I say when I watch a movie, because I just watched a kind of kindness thingy by the guy who did Yogos Lavros or whatever his name is, who just did Poor Things, and I was like, Poor Things was amazing, best movie ever, right? Or my favorite movie ever. But then like he comes out and puts out a stinker, and it's like. Did you watch the both movies? Like, this one had a story, this one did not, and this one was like weird, and this one was weird, but it was more like eccentric weird. This one was just straight up weird, you know. And the kind of kindness movie versus Poor Things, or just any movie that came out. It's like, did you pay money to watch this? And I always get really frustrated when I'm watching a movie, and it was like, I just wasted 2 hours of my life. You know, like, it's just like a lack of understanding of the audience, but just lack of understanding of just basic consumer needs. Like, people are working hard to pay money for this thing. Like, have that in your mind when you're creating a story so that it's actually good. I think a lot of movie studios do it all the time. They're like, oh, we're just gonna put crap out and just hope it's good. Like, there's no, like, where's the quality control testing? It's like like, I think if people put themselves in the shoes as a customer, it's like, we have to, like, someone's paying money, let's watch this and not make it garbage. I don't think it's that hard. I just think it's just like, people are making it too much from an artist perspective. But, like, you have to understand, you may be the artist, but the consumer's also watching it. So if you're going to try and go something a bit more, like, out of the ballpark, or something a bit more unique or fresh or whatever like that, something more artistic, you have to understand that you're still making it for somebody. It's not completely your own piece. And that's something I always think about when I'm writing, is just like, hey, shameless plug, when I'm writing is like, someone else is going to be like watching this, so I want to try and put in elements and pieces and cool personalities from the real world that I've met into my story to make it real and to make it make sense. I just think it's a lot of, like, I don't know how else to describe it other than someone's paying their money to watch this. Make sure it's not bad. Make sure it's not mediocre. Make sure it's good, because someone's paying their money to watch this, and this is an experience and 2 hours of someone's life years of their existence that they're going to devote to this. So make sure you just, you know, make sure it's good. Make sure it's up to standard, up to quality, up to snuff, and you're not being, like, you know, like, too obsessed with your own work, too obsessed with your own creativity, too in the moment, too locked in this kind of flow where you kind of can't. You have to be able to stand out from your perspective and to be able to look, like, be in that whatever third person point. Just look at yourself in a different perspective, so that, or your story in a different perspective, so that you can make sure you try and cover up all the holes. I don't know. Like, obviously I'm a writer, so I got stake in the game to be able to be like, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. But also I watch a lot of movies, I listen to audiobooks and things like that. So, but again, like, I think it was unique, I think it was fresh, but I just think it should have did more. Obviously there was flaws and strength. And another thing is, like, I normally don't even rag on movies or make them that long, but I just feel like I feel like it's just like a learning experience. It's like if you met what was it, like, it's when this is a recent thing, when Anthony Edwards went to the US Olympics or whatever, or the summer thing, and he just trained with all the top people, and then he came back, and then next year he, like, leveled up. I just feel like it's like that. I just feel like this was their first outing To my knowledge, it was the first outing of Willow and then the Jess Handle person. So I just feel like it was her first book. So I don't want to really tear it down. I just want to criticize it and see it be done better and see it improve. Personally, I want to see more sci-fi. I feel like they could have put more like just badass sci-fi stuff in here. Maybe make it more. I don't know. That's just my personal want. I just feel like the openings were there for it to be more cool, more unique. Because I already feel like the style was already there. It's the style. It was already this like kind of mellow electric style, and I feel like they could have just put some sci-fi in there and made it really fun. But that's just me. Yeah, I guess that not enough. Like they'll be like, oh, the character's black. Do you know that the character's black? The character's black. They're black. Do you know it? They're black? All right, and then that's it. Like, there's not really any, like, black is not just a thing. It's also, like, black is a culture. It's not really, like, you can be, like, Eminem, like, culturally, like, is very black. He's not, like, your culturally white American, or you know what I mean. He's not culturally white. He's more culturally black than he is white. Even though he is a Caucasian and a white American, he is culturally like black. He's culturally like hood, the ghetto, gangster, whatever like that. Just so it's like it's just like I wanted whatever the black culture is with the Vikings. I wanted more of that. I just never got that culture. Why are they black? Is it just a skin color? And again, it's another world building thing. I wanted more. I wanted more descriptions. I wanted more explanations. I wanted it to the stories and everything to really be fleshed out. I wanted to see what they wanted to show me. But I think if they do another book, I think it's going to be a lot better. Especially reading the reviews and kind of just seeing everyone's reactions. I think the second book would be a lot better. But I don't think they need any of it. I think they could just scrap the whole story. The whole Viking part, I just think is not unnecessary. I think it takes away from the story. I think if they would have had the exact same story with the exact same characters and just take away the Vikings. Again, I think it would have been like 20 to 35, even 40% better, because I just feel like it would have been a known world. I feel like they were trying to explore and do all this cool, snazzy stuff in a world that they don't really know anything about, and they didn't even really deliver on the Norse mythology stuff. All right, that's it. It's a long review, but yeah, it's kind of mixed review type thing. But I think it was. I personally did enjoy it, which is good because there's not a lot of things, especially with a black author or creator or whatever, or at least half black or whatever, that I enjoy at all, or anything recently. So it's definitely one of the best media works or books or movies, TV that I've enjoyed in a while. Like I don't know. Besides the movies I watch, even the movies, I feel like in the last 3 years, I've truly enjoyed maybe 10 to 15 movies. And out of the books I've read, or audiobooks I've listened to, even just knowing about what's popular out there. I know the Thorns and Roses by that one lady, but I truly think the book has a lot of potential, and I did enjoy it, and I think it's worth the read. And I really, really hope they do a sequel that's way better and doesn't have any of these flaws, because I feel like I would have been like a lot giddier, and I would have had more fun if there was more culture and religion expressed properly. And again, like if they're gonna be black, you can't just say their skin color is black and then this is why they're black. I need more. I needed more. I didn't get more. But I think it was a really, 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 really strong, really good. I don't want to say great. Somewhere between good and great. Just like really great opening, debut, whatever. I thought they hit it out the park for a debut. Anyways, that's it. All right.